Hi, and welcome along to the All Guns Blazing podcast with my man DT. How's it going, man?
I'm all right.
As a tough mudder.
It's all right.
I'm
doing well.
Rung him earlier this morning, and he was actually running on a treadmill.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what he said, anyway.
Yeah.
I could hear some noise going on in the background. Maybe that was some other people running on a treadmill. He's trying to pretend.
You keep hating.
He's running on a treadmill.
Yeah, I'm doing really well at the moment. I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah?
Yeah, over 6 pounds lost.
Wow.
And things are starting to fall into place now.
When do you do it?
It's not going to be until April.
Okay.
Not April, May, sorry. The April one was too...
That's too soon, man.
Too soon, and plus I wanted to do a tougher one. I'm looking to... Yeah, because, well, they've got the...
I told you already, man. They ain't no joke.
I know they ain't no joke, but they've got the 5K ones.
Yeah.
And I was like, not too sure. And then they got the 10-mile ones. And I went, yeah, let's just go for it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'll rather push myself.
Rather die.
Listen, you know what I mean? Get rich or die trying. But at the end of the day, listen.
Hey,
do what we need to do. What?
Talking of that, did you see Heavy D?
Oh,
I know Heavy D's not your favourite
go.
person. But did you see that fight he had, right? I saw
Here
like the
we
little
go.
highlights of that, right? And nice little flurry at the end by Heavy D, man. Knocked the guy out.
What I saw
Heavy
was-
D,
what
third
I-
round knockout, man.
What I saw was...
Won the title. You see him with the belt and everything.
Yeah, it's a shame the belt can't fit around his waist. Right? What I did see...
Why are you hating,
What
man?
I did see was the guy absolutely annihilating for 2 rounds, and then he blew out of his arsehole.
It don't matter.
But
It don't matter.
fair play. Well done.
It don't
well
matter.
done.
The guy was
Well
piling
done,
into
Heavy D. Well done, Heavy
right?
D.
Yes, the guy was piling in for two
Well done.
rounds. But then Heavy D soaked it up. And then in the third round, man, nice little flurry of punches by Heavy D.
Well done, Heavy D.
Might still have to line that up, you know.
Well done. Well done, Heavy D. Let's hope you use the money wisely. Go pay your rent.
You had to do something like that, didn't you?
Of course I do. Come on now.
Listen, man. I still want to see that fight happen one day, man. I still want to see that fight happen. But listen, all jokes aside, we're here to talk about the Europa League.
Yeah.
The draw has been made. Let me just run through the draw. Chelsea versus Dynamo Kiev. I'm going to do the whole draw. Chelsea versus Dynamo Kiev. Eintracht Frankfurt versus Inter Milan. Dinamo Zagreb versus Benfica. Napoli versus Salzburg. Valencia versus Krasnodar. Sevilla versus Slavia Prague. Arsenal versus Rennes of France. And Zenit St. Petersburg versus Villarreal. Your reaction, DT? Rennes.
I'm happy. We can't take anything for granted because we thought we were going to win in the first leg against BATE Borisov. But when you look at the sides that are in there, that's one of the ones where you would go, yeah, I'll take that. You know, in terms of travelling as well, it's nice.
It's not far.
It's not, with all due respect, it's not one of these Eastern European countries that are
We've been having
really,
a lot of these
and
Eastern
they're
European,
difficult to get to. They're cold.
and even for the team, like, you know, cold, long travel, big time. What was Belarus? 3 hours.
3 hours
time
ahead.
difference.
So, you know, that side of things, it's going to be an hour's difference. Nice little
Over to
short trip to
France.
France.
We've got French players, used to it. Probably played at Rennes before. A couple of them, like
Yeah.
Shelny and that.
And also as well,
Guendouzi.
like I said, without being disrespectful to them, because we've got some big Premier League games coming around the period that we play them, it is, you know, let's say, for example, we had a Napoli. We'd have to go full steam, like, you know, not saying that we're not going to in these, but you imagine having to play the likes of Spurs and Napoli and Manchester United, and it could take its toll on what's already a depleted squad.
Now, listen, but just before we get into, I'm going to run over this because what I really want to find out is, can Arsenal win the Europa League? I want to find out about, first of all, before we look at that, the game against BATE Borisov.
Yeah.
Over the 2 legs, we got the job done. 3-1 winners. Obviously, we lost the first one 1-0. The other night, pretty professional job by Arsenal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One scare in there where Lichtsteiner cleared the ball off the line. But apart from that, really, it was a comfortable night. And you just ask yourself, why didn't they play like that in the first game?
I ain't got an answer for you, to be honest. I don't know why. They haven't been playing that great over recent times, let's be honest. But you can kind of put the pitch into it. I don't want to, but it was a factor, but it's not the overall factor. The fact of the matter was that on that night, BATE wanted it more.
No, definitely.
And it's as simple as that, and you can't take away what they did. And they deserve to eat Whopper meals and drink beer on the following morning on our flight home and all the rest of it. They deserved it. They worked hard for it. They hadn't played a game since December the 13th. They came over on the Friday, the day after the game, and they've spent all the last week in London, sightseeing, going Buckingham Palace and whatnot.
No, I think they were training hard as well. Because,
yeah, and training.
A guy sits next to me. He lives in Colchester. He said to me that they've been training down there on their ground as well. And, they you could see they were fighting for it, but Arsenal showed their class.
Yeah.
And how many corners did we have against them in the first game?
Yeah.
That didn't beat the first man. I remember moaning about it on the day. I'm like, it's a set piece opportunity, and we're not beating the first man. We had about 12 corners plus.
Yeah,
what? In the game now, the other night, couple of corners, boom, in the ball. They can't deal with corners whatsoever. Yeah. Great goal by Mustafi. Great goal by Socrates. But basically because they couldn't deal with the ball being whipped into the box, even our first goal. Same thing. What it
You know shows. What? Well, the thing was, I was sat next to you in the game out there, and I said to you that when it comes to the corners, in that second half especially, I genuinely think there was something wrong with the pitch in that corner that we were struggling with. Shit. No, because I'll tell you why. Because we tried about 4 different people to take corners. Even Torreira, Mkhitaryan, Xhaka. Loads of players went over to try and take corners, and every single one of them could not get it past the first man. Now, the one thing I will say is that we've been pretty good from dead balls this season. We've actually been really good.
But you got 4 players and none of them could get it past the first man. Something's wrong with it.
Because I just think that the footing was going in that corner section. That's where the worst parts of the pitches were, in the corner. And I know it's an easy excuse to say that, but I just feel that because the delivery is normally good, and for this one, it wasn't, you have to look at why. And one of the main reasons was the pitch, because their standing foot was not, it just kept giving way in the surface because it was so soft. And then you go to this game, and the dead balls wasn't just the 2 that we scored from, we're causing problems all night with the dead balls. So you've got to look at that one game and say, maybe that was the reason, because it was more than one player that actually went out to say, right, let me have a go. Okay, yeah, that is difficult. And Torreira, when he's taken dead balls, he's normally really good. You look at him for Sampdoria, really good from dead balls. But even he couldn't beat the first man.
What did you make of Ozil in that game?
Really good.
Played the all right. Steady on.
Just saying.
Really good. Well, he couldn't
Sorry,
wait, could he?
Couldn't wait.
Wait, I'm about to call Lee back.
No, listen, I'm saying it. Listen.
Now let me call Lee back.
Nah, call him back. Call him back.
He just jumped. Look at the smile on his face. Alfie, all right?
Yeah, I'm well at me.
But you was impressed with him.
Yeah, because do you know what? Right, after the game finished, I went home. I went to my studio. I filmed my player ratings thing, and then I was like, it's like after a game, you've got all that, emotion. You're still like hyped, and you can't go to sleep or anything. I was like, let me watch the game back, because I said after the game that I felt Ozil's movement off the ball and everything was really good, and it opened up so much for the likes of Iwobi. Xhaka played really well, and he had that, movement in front of him that he craves. And I watched the game back, and I was watching Ozil, and his movement, man, the way he opens everything up, he dictated the pace and the play that we were doing. And there's a lot of people out there that just think you must score or you must assist, because if you haven't, you're crap.
I have to agree with you as well, because there was a few fans I interviewed after the game. Like, yeah, but what did he do? Yeah, he didn't really. But to me, the game had a better flow to it with him in there. There's a lot of things he does, right? They're very simple one-touch things.
But it's moving it quick.
Yeah, it causes the team to move quicker. So if you pass the ball into him, sometimes it's in the middle, he'll just help it on straight away and just help it on. He constantly does that a lot in games. One touch. And it doesn't look spectacular at the time, but when you do, you're right. When you watch the game back, you see
realise
that it's moving, it's flowing. It aids with the flow of the team. Whereas when we was over playing in the first leg, players were getting the ball and they were having too many touches.
This is what I said to you in the last podcast.
Then it was very easy for BATE Borisov, who were a very organised team, apart from at set pieces, to just get bodies behind it and to get blocks in and to get, and to close down space. So I do think with him in the team, there's better. It flows better. It flows better. It was interesting that Emery, after the game, still not guaranteeing that he starts.
No, I don't think Emery's ever going to come out and be like, yeah, I'm going to, because it kind of undermines what he's decided to do. He's kind of put the ball in Ozil's court by kind of saying that he's got to produce in training, and he's thinly veiled, kind of dig at him by saying that he hasn't been, and that's why he's not in the side. And Ozil's kind of had his little certain things that he's made sly digs over in social media. So now, hopefully, they're both going to start working together. And like I said to everyone else, that let's forget about what's going to happen to Ozil in the summer. Let's forget that. Whether you're going to sell him, whatever. Let's forget his wages. He's at Arsenal right now. For him to not even be in the 18-man squad is criminal. He should be in that squad. Is he better than Iwobi, Mkhitaryan, all these kind of players that are playing in these positions by a million miles? I understand that some games, maybe it isn't suited for him. Okay, take him out, but at least put him on the bench just in case. But to take him out of the squad completely, nah.
Would you play him against Southampton?
You know what? I had this discussion with you after the game, and I said my thoughts were based more on what I feel that Emery's going to do, and I don't think that he will start him.
Why?
Maybe it's part of this whole standoff, but I feel that
I would start him.
I would now. When you look at it, I'm sitting there looking at the side, and I'm thinking, Southampton at home, Southampton are fighting, they need points. Would Southampton take a draw at the Emirates all day?
I've done a preview of a Southampton fan this morning, and he said they would be ecstatic with a draw.
That's what I mean. So playing at the Emirates and playing at St Mary's are two different games. We struggle when we go there, but the Emirates predominantly were really good against Southampton at home. So you're looking at it, they're going to shut up shop. They're not going to come and play attacking, expansive football.
There'll be a good counter-attacking team.
Yeah.
Redmond in there and stuff like that.
And if Shane Long gets on, because he always turns into a worldie when he plays against us. But
Charlie Austin.
Yeah, they got an attacking threat, but they're going to be very reserved in the way that they play, I feel.
Yeah.
And Ozil could be that guy that opens things up. And like we said, it's moving the ball, man.
Is it the price tag for you? That what's getting everybody, when I say price tag, the wages that's getting everybody, because obviously there's the sort of thing that's gone round that people are, where we were restricted in spending money because of the wage bill. And incidentally, Chelsea, we've been moaning about Arsenal but you see Chelsea now, the problems they're in. He's laughing. But they've been given a
2-year transfer
ban. You're laughing. I was saying earlier that all the youth players and players like Hudson Odoi and that are laughing because they might get a game now.
All 1,527 that are on loan at BATE
They're going to have to bring everybody back from loan now. But that might be a good thing for Chelsea.
The thing is, Chelsea fans, they're actually going to see what life is like before Roman Abramovich now, when you don't buy anyone and you don't do anything. Good luck. Yeah. I don't feel sorry for him.
No, I'm not saying I feel sorry for him, but what I'm saying is, it's with the Ozil thing, is it that amount of wages that he's on? Because there were still people saying, he played all right, but is that 350 grand's worth? I think this is where people are falling wrong. Because the problem is, as I said, it's a team game, and if he's helping the team in general play better, then
look, right, he never set his wages. Arsenal put themselves in this situation in the first place by running down Alexis's contract and then Ozil's. We put ourselves in that mess. Ivan Gazidis put us in that mess, right? When Mesut Ozil signed his contract, I cannot remember seeing anyone that was upset about it.
No.
I cannot remember seeing anyone say, 350 grand a week, why are we paying him that? Nobody mentioned it. I tell you what I kept seeing from everyone. Well, it's about time we acted like a big club. It's about time we paid the wages for top players. We've been moaning for so long. Why don't you pay this player the top wages? This is the going rate. You need to pay this player 200 grand, 300 grand. If you want the best, you've got to pay the money. This is what everyone was saying. Finally, we're acting like a big club. Yes. The moment he has a dip or there's a few bad games, why are you paying him 350 grand? You can't win. And it's simple facts.
I think a lot of it is the fact that the restraints as well that have been put on us, and the fact that we're having to let Ramsey go and stuff like that.
That's other factors, not Mesut
people are now
Ozil.
looking at it and saying he's taking the bulk of the wages with the free. That's enough that could have paid three players. That's
It's not.
That's what people are saying.
I know, but if they're saying that, then they're delusional. I explained this in the summing up with Lee last week.
Yeah, you could get free players for that.
There's over 500 grand's worth of wages that we're paying out at the moment on people that are not contributing to this side.
But there's one player that's getting £350,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
One.
Yes.
Right? That could quite easily have got 3, 4 very good players' wages.
But what I'm saying to you...
Very good.
Right? What I'm saying to you is to buy someone of Mesut Ozil's calibre in this market is going to be ridiculous amounts of money. I don't care what people say about look, shut up, all right? People like Cristiano Ronaldo and all these best strikers and that talk about what Mesut Ozil's like as a player.
I
Yeah,
thought he was going to mention him.
No. I'm saying
be careful.
Them people are the ones that praise Mesut Ozil and talk about how good he is. When you talk about players,
long time ago,
you talk about players that have played with Mesut Ozil, they mention him in their 11s.
Yeah, you praise
right?
Pele as well. But you're not going to put him in your team now, are you?
No, I'm saying when you do your all-time 11s and stuff, right? These players.
Yeah, but
I'm saying, he could still produce it. He could still produce it. So who am I going to believe? World-class players or some little virgin that sat in his house just going, oh, he's shit, fuck off. No, not listening to none of that rubbish, man. At the end of the day, right, we've got a world-class player there. And yes, he does have to pull his weight. And yes, he does have to do things right. But if we can get the balance right and get the team playing along with him, no problem at all. And I told you, there's too many other players on ridiculous wages at the club that shouldn't be there. Petr Cech, 110 grand. He's going to be off the wage bill. Lauren Koscielny's on nearly 100 grand. Lichtsteiner's on nearly 100 grand. Cole Jenkinson's on about 62,000. So you're talking...
You know what? Like, for instance, you just said there, Lauren Koscielny's on 110 grand.
No, Petr Cech, 110.
Sorry, Lauren Koscielny's on how much?
Nearly 100, over 90,000.
Right, and Ozil's on 350. Who's contributed more to Arsenal this season? Why are you even thinking about it?
I am thinking about it.
Why are you even thinking about it?
I am thinking about it because Koscielny's not been that great since he's come back from injury.
Well, he's
had a couple of good games. He had a game against Chelsea where he played well. He had a game where he played well against Chelsea. And then there was the one the other day. I'm trying to think who it was, and he played well in. You remember his comeback against Southampton? Shocking.
Coming back from being out.
Yeah.
With an Achilles injury that's kept him out for ages.
There's a whole thing.
He's contributed more. What do you mean no? He has.
No.
What's Ozil contributed then? So since he's...
I'm saying that there's
I'm
saying there's no difference between them.
But you want to get rid of Koscielny.
Because he's past it.
Huh?
Because he's past
it. That's what some people are saying about Ozil.
But he's not. That's my opinion.
In your opinion.
Yes, my opinion.
But some people,
he's not.
Some people are saying that what you
described
described there about Ronaldo and all that was, he was. But they're looking on him and saying, now, £350,000 worth, you're past it.
Ask Aubameyang and Lacazette.
So let's get rid of him.
Ask Aubameyang and Lacazette right now who they would want to have playing behind them. If they could answer that, without getting in trouble, and they could say, who would you rather have behind you? Iwobi, Mkhitaryan, Ozil. 100% they would say Mesut Ozil all day long. These are the guys that train with him on a day-to-day basis.
What if we ask him if he's worth £350,000?
I don't think any player would answer that. Because how...
No, but like you said, behind closed doors and that, and you had a private conversation.
Who knows?
Said, yo, Pierre, come over here.
Oh, mate, I can't believe he's just tried that one, man.
Ozil, do you reckon he's worth £350,000 a week, wages? What do you think he'd say?
Who knows what the players say?
Are you kidding me? 350,000.
If Ozil comes back in the side from the remainder of this season, and we get back into the Champions League as a result of him coming back in, like top
You'd have paid
4
off his
or
money.
Dennis Weber.
Fair
and
enough.
what you got to remember as well is that I know a lot of people don't like this, and it is part of modern football. But you need to look at the marketable side of a player, right? Mesut Ozil, his market side of things is ridiculous, and there's the difference between him and Aaron Ramsey. And I'm not being like disrespectful in the way that I say this, but you know, when a new shirt comes out, when Adidas come out at the end of the season, remember Mesut Ozil's Adidas as well, right? Now you imagine Ozil's still here, Adidas bring out their new shirt. And you got the first day and everyone's queuing up to get their name and numbers on the shirt and everything. How many people do you think are queuing up for Mesut Ozil, and how many do you think would be queuing up for Aaron Ramsey?
True.
And that's the side that
But it's
you
about
have to look.
performances.
I know.
I want the Champions
No,
League logo
I know
on the
that.
sleeve
I
as
know
well.
that. This is what I'm trying to say to you. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that in today's modern, way, there is a commercial side of things.
Yeah, that's true.
And I
That
think
is true.
Arsenal have looked at it and said, you know what? At the time that they offered him it, is Aaron Ramsey worth the kind of wages that he was demanding and wanting, near towards what Ozil's saying, more than Aubameyang? Is he more marketable than those players? No, he's not more marketable than Aubameyang. When a new shirt comes out in the summer, there'll be kids lining up to get Aubameyang.
It's all right for the Juventus shirt, don't it? Anyway, listen, let's find out the Europa
But
League.
you say that when Juventus bring their new strip out, and there's a queue for Ronaldo, or there's a queue for Aaron Ramsey, where do you think they are?
Ramsey.
No, like I said to you, I'm not saying it's right.
Messi.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that
I hear what you're saying.
in modern football, that's the way it's become, and that there's it's a brand. Why do you think Mesut Ozil wanted the 10 so bad? Because it's part of his brand.
That's worked out well, isn't it, since he's took that 10?
It's his image. And
Just stuck with the original number.
Well, look, at the end of the day, who was the last great number 10 that we had? With all due respect to Jack Wilshere, as much as I love him, you've got to go Dennis Bergkamp.
Yeah, and that's when you talk about
I thought you was about to say William Gallas. I was
That's
about
when
to
you
go,
talk
no.
about greatness.
Yeah, that's serious.
Anyway, can we win the Europa League? We've drawn Rennes,
Yes.
which is a very favourable draw, as we said. We both have got no arguments over that. You were saying that you would rather have played them away first, you were saying. I don't know. You play them at home, get a big win, then go over there and just try and get that away goal.
And then it's kind of, I suppose the advantage of playing away second is that if you do mess up the first leg and you do concede an away goal, you kind of know where you stand.
Yeah. I think sometimes when you play at home first, if you can put that really good home performance in, really have the crowd up for it, take that team apart in the first game, then when you go, you've got that cushion. And then, the main thing is, and what we found, and you've seen it in a lot of games in the Champions League and in the Europa League.
Hold on a minute.
Do not concede.
Hold on a minute.
What?
Are Chelsea at home?
Chelsea at home, yeah.
First.
Yes.
Oh, no.
So it might be another early kickoff.
Oh, mate. Because you know
And
the rule.
I heard that they got to choose
Because they won the cup.
Because they won the FA Cup. Will that be the same in this time?
Surely they should rotate it. They should say, well, you got, first dibs last time. It's
And that was
Arsenal's
strange
turn.
because you know what? It did have an effect because I was at the game where I was sat, and at first there was hardly
Do you know what?
on my row. There was hardly anyone
It was
on
a
my
good
row.
turnout.
No, it's a very good turnout. But on my row, when it kicked off, I was like, bloody hell, where is everyone? Then within about 20 minutes,
Everyone
the row
came
was
in.
full.
Yeah.
So, and I was saying to people, they're like, yeah, listen, man, it was trouble to get here, traffic.
Yeah.
Other people, like, I couldn't get out of work earlier. But, you know what I mean? And then there was an incident at Finsbury Park. I don't know if that was during the game or whatever. But, yeah, that will be a problem. But the
Yeah.
first game at home, it's all about not conceding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't give away that away goal. Get a good win. And then go away to Rennes and get the job done.
And if Koscielny's playing, don't try and hook the ball over your head when you've got players on your backside like he did against Griezmann.
But this ain't Griezmann. This
I know
ain't Atletico. This
yes,
is Rennes.
but you say that, it ain't Griezmann, but they got Ben Arfa.
Hatem Ben Arfa's a very good player.
So,
But
and
again,
he can
past his
cause
best, isn't
problems.
he? Mid-table,
Yeah.
League One team, League One team. Come on, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We
That's
should beat them. We should beat them.
Come on, we should be progressing. Then, if you look at how these draws have gone, we did a live draw show and we were saying it at the time. It's almost as if we've heard these conspiracies before about the hot balls and things like that. if ever there was hot balls, it would be this one because
Hot balls. Judging by some of your recent videos, you've had hot balls. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, I had to get that one in there.
Haters, man.
He's sitting over there just trying not to laugh his head off. Sorry, man. Hot balls.
Hate. Right, now listen.
You better cut that little segment out and put that one out because I'll do it myself.
Haters, man. Right, listen. Chelsea have avoided a big gun. They got Dynamo Kiev. You would expect Dynamo Kiev are fairly big. You'd expect Chelsea to get through there.
It's how they travel because the
Yeah.
Eastern European thing, cold weather.
Well, we can tell you because we played at that same ground and it was -15.
Yeah.
Bloody cold.
And to Chelsea fans, Louis and that, if you need any advice about hotels, hook us up because we know.
Lovely hotel right opposite the ground. Perfect.
Literally, like you look out your window and you're at the stadium.
And a nice hotel. Nice hotel. I didn't tell you about the hotel that we stayed in Belarus.
Oh, yeah, you stayed in a different one to me, didn't you?
It was a very nice hotel, man, but oh my God.
There's a but. What was the but?
Oh
Come on,
my-
because I don't know.
Oh my God, man.
Who booked it?
20-1.
The amount of
no.
there was a guy that walked. It was like a scene from a Russian mafia movie. No joke, right? Where this old guy walked in with about 3-4 bodyguards. This is after the game, and we've gone back. Was having a drink in the hotel bar. He had about 20 girls with him, all beautiful, and he walked in, and the security guard. They were all massive, and they were looking around, and then he went upstairs. Don't know what he was doing upstairs. Then he came back down and there was still bodyguards and girls. I'd never seen nothing like it. It was like a movie.
Wow.
This guy was, people talk about Don, Robbie. Nah, mate. This guy was the Don.
This guy was
He
the
was
dog.
the Don, mate. He tell you. And he was just, you know when someone's walking around and you're like, hey, yeah, that's...
Yeah, don't look. Don't look.
That's a heavy hitter.
Yeah, don't look.
And he had some bodyguards, mate. And they went everywhere with him. And they were looking around and like, they rolled
Wow.
up in some Mercs outside. Hey, listen, man. Well, anyway, listen. What am I talking about? He'll get back on the draw, right? So that was it. That was in Belarus. But anyway, Inter Milan versus Eintracht Frankfurt. You'd expect Inter to get through to that, yeah? Mm-hmm. Dynamo Zagreb versus Benfica. Benfica are having a very good season in Portugal this season. Mm-hmm. You'd expect them to get through.
Yeah.
Napoli versus Salzburg. Again, another big team that have avoided another big team.
Yeah.
They'll get through to that, surely. Valencia versus Krasnodar. You'd fancy Valencia to get through. Mm-hmm. Sevilla versus Sparta Prague. You'd fancy them to get through. And then I'd then say any one of Zenit and Villarreal. That's a more evenly matched tie. But so you could potentially be looking at, right, after that, the teams left in it,
For the
if it all
quarterfinals.
runs how it should run, the quarterfinals, when you go into that draw, will be Chelsea, Inter Milan, Benfica, Napoli, Sevilla, Arsenal, and then Zenit or Villarreal. All of those teams are teams with Champions League pedigree. That are teams that you'd say, you know,
They would be more like Champions League ties.
That's going to be like Champions League ties. It's going to be when people talk about the easiest route is to getting into the Champions League is to win. I think they're forgetting about some of the teams that are left. These are good teams with Champions League pedigree. It's going to be very difficult to win it. I think it's almost harder, the teams that are left here, than last year.
Yeah.
I know that we run into, you know, the best team left, which was Atletico Madrid. They're a Champions League team all day long. Costa and Griezmann and guys like that. And they went on to win it, beating Marseille in the fight. But all of these teams here are teams that you would expect season in, season out to be in the Champions League and not even in the Europa League.
Yeah.
So to win this competition, and I know Unai Emery's got a great, you know, pedigree in it, it's going to be very, very tough.
Very tough.
Because those teams are going to get through, aren't they? They're going to get through.
You can never say never in football.
All right, 90% of those teams are going to get through.
We'll probably be the one that don't.
And then if in the next round you've got an Inter, those are good teams. Mario Icardi and people like that. If you get a Napoli, Koulibaly and Insigne and guys like that, Valencia, top team.
Napoli beat Liverpool at home this season, didn't they?
Yeah.
In the home leg.
Sevilla,
and there was an Alisson save away from going through at Anfield. You remember in injury time when Alisson made that save?
Yeah.
So they were a bit unlucky with the fact that they drew Liverpool and PSG in their group. So one of them had to drop.
Yeah. So none of these teams, apart from, as I said, Zenit and Villarreal, have been drawn together, but all the rest have been kept apart.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. Rennes has been falling brilliantly for us, but when we, if we get through, I shouldn't say when, if we get through that, tough route to win it.
Very tough route, but
can we win it?
Yeah, we can win it. We might as well go home now if we can't believe we can.
Is it an easier route?
Not when you look at the teams in there. Nah.
That's gone out the window now, hasn't it? Because if you look at to get into the top 4, Chelsea are really faltering at the moment.
We're 1 point behind Manchester United.
Right, and more bad news on Chelsea with the transfer thing and that. A lot of negativity around the club, sorry, and they've got a lot of games, They, not even playing this weekend because they'll have the Carabao Cup and stuff. So a lot of tough times for Chelsea. Man United are doing brilliantly. However, they got a very tough period of games coming up, haven't they?
Yeah. Liverpool, and then I believe they've got PSG, us, Man City,
Tottenham.
I think Spurs as well.
Yep.
So no, not Spurs. I think they played Spurs.
Oh yeah, no,
they played.
They Spurs twice.
They lost 3-0 at home, and then they won 1-0 at Wembley. I think it's Chelsea they've got to play.
So you look on it. If Arsenal in the league, for instance, if we could win our next 2 games against Bournemouth and Southampton, then possibly it'd be really tough. But 4 points
from Man United, Tottenham,
or even 3 points from those 2 games.
Yeah.
Right?
Which one would you... All right, go on. Let me ask you a question.
Listen, if you really work it out, if you're working it out and looking on it, right, from a sensible point of view.
Yeah, I don't do sensible.
Hold on. If we said to you, right, you can only have 3 points from those 2 games.
Yeah, you knew what I was going to say.
Much as you'd really, really want to be that win against Spurs, it would make more sense to beat Man United. Because Spurs, we're not going to catch them, I don't think. They are going to get at least 3rd place, I think.
Nah.
They are. I mean,
no, not that. Nah, can't lose to Tottenham.
No, but hold on. Which then means, beating Man United would be better because Man United are our direct.
I know what you're saying, but I just can't ever accept losing to Spurs.
I know. But as I was saying, being sensible about it. I know, and I'm with you as well. And we haven't won at Wembley for so long. We haven't beaten Spurs away for ages.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Sensible wise, if you really had to look at one of those and say, what's the one we need to catch Man United? It's 4th place. I think there's 1 place up for grabs.
Given the fact that we've got, out of all the big sides, and this is with all due respect to everyone else in the Premier League, because no game's easy, especially coming into this end of the season where people are fighting for survival and whatever. The fact that we've only got 2 of those big sides left, which are back-to-back,
and one of them's
they're next week and the week after.
Yeah.
You look at our running, final 8 games, very, very favourable.
Yeah.
Very favourable.
Yeah.
So if you were to sit there now and say which is your best option for the Champions League, I'd say top 4.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, because the way that draw's gone, and let me just repeat it again. If it was to go how
you were thinking,
and how based off of say you was betting on this, right? If it was to go right,
they're basically the bankers.
Yeah, Chelsea, Inter Milan, Benfica, Napoli, Valencia, Sevilla, Zenit St. Petersburg, or Villarreal. Either of those 2. That's tough.
It's going to be tough. It will be, and like I said, I feel this is what I said to you after the BATE game in my interview when you said to me about top 4 and everything. And I said, why are people already dismissing top 4? People are talking like we're 7, 8, 9 points behind Manchester United and we need to rely on them losing heaps of games. We actually don't need to rely on anyone else. It's actually in our hands.
It's true.
You know, because we still got to play Manchester United. So win...
And Tottenham.
You know, let's just, for argument's sake, not that it will happen, but if we win our remaining Premier League games, every single game, we're in the Champions League. Simple. We're in the Champions League.
Is that another reason why it's really frustrating when you look at January and the transfer? Because surely they would, obviously they wouldn't have known the Europa League draw, but they would have looked at that league and look at the games that are, you know, and you think to yourself, go and get a proper defender.
Yeah.
Because clean sheets, the lack of clean sheets that are doing us.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what's annoying me?
And it's so important to get people like Ozil back on form.
Yeah, of course.
And these guys, because it's doable.
Yeah, it is doable. What's annoying me is the fact that Mavropanos has not been included in the Europa League squad. And I know that was because...
Well, he was injured a lot. He was
well,
out
no,
at the start of the season,
it was
wasn't
because to do with the quota and everything else. And they had... This is where it's such a pathetic, stupid rule. We had to include a couple of homegrown players. We had to put Hector Bellerin and Danny Welbeck in the squad. They're not going to play this season. They're out for the season and then some.
So there should be a change when those players are out. For
it
the rest
should
of the
be
season.
like there should be some kind of rule with UEFA or whatever to say that okay.
But we've got enough defenders to play in there.
But I think that we should have sacrificed. No, because you never know with the injuries. Was Koscielny injured when he came off against BATE, or was that tactical?
He looked like he was when he came off. He was looking down at his leg. So
there you go. So he's got a history of injuries. Mustafi's had injuries lately. Socrates has had injuries lately. We're an injury away from Lichtsteiner and Monreal at centre-back. So I would rather we sacrificed El Neni, for example. Doesn't get a look in. We're at the business end of the Europa where he's not really going to get no games. So we're stocked in that area. So why not sacrifice him and put somewhere where we are vulnerable? I don't get it. I really didn't get that decision.
Okay, so for you, easiest route. There's no easy route.
There's no
easiest route. If you
top
look
four.
at the two of them, is top four and not the Europa League. And I really love to hear from anybody listening to or watching this what you think's the easiest route. Now,
I'll tell you something.
Based off of what's happened now in the Europa League draw.
If we get in the Champions League, Emery should be manager of the year. Honestly, he should be right up there as contender.
Yeah,
I know it's very easy. You know, if Liverpool win the league, for example, then Jurgen Klopp's going to get it because it's their first title in however long. But, you know, if Pep wins it, then it's very easy to go, oh, well, he won the league, give him the trophy.
He should get it if he wins it.
And you should, in that respect. But then you should be able to look at the bigger picture and say who's had the more difficult, you know, run. And
Solskjaer maybe could get it as well.
But, you know, you think about it, he's took over from a man that's been there for 22 years. It's, you know, he's basically changed the whole institution. It's not just players. There's been injuries and, you know, unrest within the fan base again because Ozil and this... If he gets us in the Champions League, it's been an unbelievable first season for Unai Emery.
Before we go, let me ask you, confident we'll beat Southampton?
Yeah, I am, because it's at the Emirates. And we have predominantly been good at the Emirates, even under Wenger era when we were playing poorly. We were good.
Bournemouth?
Again, confident with that. Bournemouth are more of an expansive side, so they won't try and shut up shop as such, and they will try and play their football under Eddie Howe, which may play into our hands. But listen, I said it before we played, you know, the last league game that we had against Huddersfield, and I said we've got 3 games coming up where we need 9 points. It's as simple as that, because then we go into Spurs and Manchester United. So the one thing we want, beat Huddersfield, beat BATE, let's beat Southampton, let's beat Bournemouth, and we'll go into those games with 4 wins on the bounce and maybe a few smiles on our faces and a bit of confidence.
Thank you very much for today. By the way, did you see Wenger?
What?
His Lifetime Achievement Award. That was brilliant, wasn't it?
What?
What?
Did you see it? No, I ain't seen it. Are you joking me or what?
No, I'm serious. He got a Lifetime Achievement Award
Okay.
for football.
Okay. That's nice. Well done. Congratulations, Arsene.
Such a hater. Ain't you?
What? I don't know what you want about. I'm being serious. I've just said congratulations. Well done, Arsene.
Do you think that's deserved?
What was it?
A Lifetime Achievement Award
For?
in football.
Yeah. He deserves that. He's done a lot within football. He has done a lot, despite what I feel about him in the last few years. Not just at Arsenal, but outside of Arsenal.
Guy said to me actually a couple of days ago, which is true. He said, "Put Arsenal," and this. Sorry, no, it wasn't a couple of days ago. It was over in Belarus. He said Arsene Wenger put Arsenal on the map in Europe, around the world, as regards fans are concerned. Yes, Arsenal was a major club, big club in England. Big club, people obviously knew it around the world, but Wenger really made the brand worldwide. Because what it wasn't just the trophies he won, the style of football. People just loved Arsenal.
But what I will say as well is that did also coincide with the heavy investment into the Premier League and everything else, and it was natural that the rest of the world are going to see these sides.
But
I'm not taking it. I'm not.
Yes,
I'm not taking that away. In the first years and everything else, he was unbelievable at this club,
10.
and I loved the guy. He was like a dad to me, and I never thought that it would have ended the way that it did. When we're celebrating the Invincibles and stuff, if you would have said that to us in 2004, oh yeah, in 10, 15 years time, you're going to be doing it. You'd be like, what? Go away, you've taken something. But that's football, that's what happens. And yeah, he has done a lot within football, and he deserves things like that. And it'd be interesting to see. I'm just waiting to see whether he gets a job. That's the next step for me. I
personally don't think he should do that.
Well, do you not think that he should have been snapped up by now?
I reckon he's probably been asked to do a job, but he's probably waiting maybe for the perfect one to come along. I think he would. Where I think he could do a good job, not Chelsea. No, not Chelsea. Somebody else said that the other day.
David Seaman.
Was it David Seaman?
David Seaman
Can you
said.
imagine him going to Chelsea? Oh, no, man. Right.
Well, at least the banter era will continue.
But I think an international job would
Maybe.
be good for Wenger.
Maybe.
I even think maybe not France because
Japan.
But yeah, Japan or I don't know, one of those sort of countries. Yeah, I think he could do well international job, but I think day in day out now for himself. Give it. You've done it.
He
so
looks
long.
he looks happier.
He looks refreshed. He looks much happier. He ain't got banners and planes flying over and people like you going at him day in day out. You know what I mean?
He's stressed his life out.
Yeah, he looks like a new guy now. He looks fresh. He looks. I'm really happy.
Have you noticed how fresher I am? Yeah, I feel good.
You're still depressed. But no, I'm pleased for him actually. I'm pleased that he looks how he's looking. He does look refreshed. But that's why I think he should leave it now. Leave. You've done everything. What you're supposed to do. Maybe, as I said, an international job came along. Even like one of the African, really good African country, like a Nigeria or somebody like that wanted a job, something like that. But not the day in, day out at a top club. I think he could go in there and get found out if he tried that.
It's Tao saying Zimbabwe.
No, they're not. I said a good African team.
But you're going to get some abuse in the comment section now from Zimbabweans.
They know they're not good at football.
But no, you know what it is? I think that with Arsene, I feel that closure in his story at Arsenal and when he was able to release everything and move on and feel better was the day he met me. It was like,
Is that the day you begged him for a picture?
No, he begged me.
Yeah.
Remember, was like, DT, come here.
See, that's the aura of the man. That even you, that was so much against him for all these years, when you saw him, you were like, you know what? Respect, man.
Yeah, you got to give him respect.
Respect to this
Plus,
guy.
I knew the picture would wind a load of people up.
Respect. And whatever we say about him, he just comes across as a genuine guy. Just got it wrong towards the end, that's all.
Yeah, got it wrong.
So, congratulations going out to Arsene Wenger on that Lifetime Achievement Award. You deserve that. Thanks for watching and listening to the podcast today. Don't forget you can get us on all formats. The links are in the description. Big game this weekend, Southampton, then followed up again on Wednesday And then next week, we've got a very special podcast for you because it's going to be a North London derby. And I'm sure my man here will be in his element. Looking forward to that. That, of course, early kickoff at Wembley.
I'm going to upset a whole fan base.
You do it for yourself, yeah? Because I'm fed up with going to Tottenham and having a price put on my head. You know what I mean? Which is seems to be every season just after I've done a video with you. Right? So keep it to yourself next week. All right, so we'll be back next week. Don't forget to subscribe to AFTV. Get us to 1 million. We're still trying to get there.